Hi, everybody. How are you? Can you hear me? Always got to do that check. Hi, everybody. Looks like the sound is good. Sorry for the delay. I couldn't find my glasses. Mi gafas. Lo siento, mi gente. There's some singing for you, some Spanish opera, and we are ready to go with some property ownership action. All right, what's up, Cindy Ballantine, America Schrader, Gretchen? Is there any guys in the chat today? Franklin, how's it going, Franklin? See, don't see many guys, but it's all right. We are ready to start. Whoever's here. Okay, so we talk about property ownership. Who could tell me what are the bundle of rights? Miranda's late. Well, Miranda, we already gave everybody the answers. Basically, I said in the first few minutes, number 1 is B, 2 is C, 3 is D. Write that down. I'm just going to ramble on for the rest of this webinar just for the sake of YouTube. So, sorry, Miranda, you missed it. I gave everybody the answers to the exam already. Okay, what's the bundle of rights? Who can tell me what the bundle of rights? The bundle of rights are your rights in ownership, the right to use, possess, encumber, dispose, do whatever you want with it. And if you violate one of those rights, you lose that right. And if you lose all those rights, you don't have the property anymore. What is the difference between real property and personal property? Anybody know? What's the difference between real property and personal property? Who could tell me the difference between real property and personal property? The difference between real property and personal property. Real property is immovable, personal property is movable, but that's a general rule. What is the more true definition so you don't get tripped up? Anybody know? Because if I say personal property is movable, real property is immovable, then what do you call a pool covering? What's a pool covering? What do you guys think a pool covering is, huh? When you say a pool covering, what do you think? When I say a pool covering, is that personal or real? A pool covering is real property, but you move it, right? You move it, so what's up with that? A pool covering is real properties that goes with the land. So the better definition, everybody write this down. Are you all writing this down? Write this down. Real property goes with the real estate. Personal property goes with the person. Everybody got that? Real property goes with the real estate. Personal property goes with the person. And the reason for that is when they talk about movable and immovable, they're not talking about if you could pick it up and throw it. They're talking about when you sell the property, does that stuff move? Does it go with you? Or does it go with the real estate? Does that make sense, everybody? A lot of you guys, you have personal property, you have this idea in your head, you pick it up and can fling it out the window. It has to do with when you move, the person moves, does that item move as well? Does that help? Hopefully that helps. Okay. Can personal property become real property, and can real property become personal property? What's the action when real property is turned into personal property? What's that called? What's that called when you turn real property into personal property? And yes, the pool covering is real property. What's that called when you take some real property and turn it into personal property? Severance. Nice job. Annexation is the other way around. Severance. Good. You guys got to know that action. What is an item called when personal property becomes real property? What do you guys think? What's that called? What's that thing called when personal property becomes real property? Anybody? 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 What's that called? That'd be called a fixture. Nice. I see some guys writing chattel. If you guys don't know, chattel real is another word for personal property, and remember it like this. Chattel, cattle, cows, move. It's movable. I know it sounds ridiculous. I get it. But when you take your exam, you're sitting there, what? Move. Yeah. Okay, pass. Woo! All right. You won't care. Am I right or am I right? Chattel, cattle, cows, move. And it sounds ridiculous, but when you're taking your exam, you're not going to care. Somebody's going to look at you and be like, you sound ridiculous. And you're going to say, ridiculous for my real estate license, loser. Look at your own test. That's what you're going to say. Write that down. For those of you guys think I'm moving too fast, don't forget this is recorded and you could watch it back. You could watch the replay. Okay, back to the fixture bit. So a fixture sign is incorporated into the land. What is a test for a fixture? Eric Gonzalez just passed his exam in California. Everybody say congratulations, Eric. And if you want to be extra fancy, say it in multiple languages, whatever language you guys speak. I'll go with English. Congratulations, Eric. If you guys want to throw a little felicitadas out there, go ahead. All right, so a fixture has that Maria test. Felicia, I saw some Portuguese out there, some Portuguese people in the house. Todo bem. Okay, parabéns. What is that? I think that's Portuguese too. All right, so a fixture is the Maria test, and Maria stands for what? What does Maria stand for? Method, adaptability, relationship, intention, and agreement. Method, adaptability, relationship, intention, and agreement. Oh, we got some Russian. People always think you're smarter when you speak a language they don't expect you to speak. Fact. Okay, so method, adaptability, relationship, intention, and agreement. That is a test for a fixture. You guys must know that. Method, adaptability, relationship, intention, and agreement. That is an item that's incorporated into the land. It's incorporated into land. Everybody got that? That's a test for a fixture. Give me an example of a fixture. And don't say chandelier because I know it's in everybody's textbook. Try to be original. Don't be lame. Give me something other than the thing that every textbook has. Okay, give me an example of a fixture. Am I right or am I right? Every one of your textbooks uses that stupid chandelier example. A mirror, thank you, D exclamation point. Oven, fences, pizza. Pizza oven's an interesting one. A pizza oven would be a trade fixture. A trade fixture is a fixture that's used for somebody's business. My question to you guys is a trade fixture personal or real property? What do you guys think? Is a trade fixture personal or real property? A trade fixture would be considered personal property because it goes with that person's business. Let's switch gears and do the question on the board. What do you guys say? Which of the following is a voluntary specific lien? A, mechanics lien. B, IRS tax lien. C, property tax lien, or D, mortgage lien? Now you guys got that moo thing in my head. La vaca Lola, tiene cabeza, tiene cola, hace moo. Okay, and the answer here is D, mortgage lien. A mortgage lien is a voluntary specific lien. It's a voluntary specific lien. It's specific because if you guys don't pay it, they don't take everything, they just take the property. It's voluntary, so obviously you don't have to get a loan in your house. What I would like you guys to do right now is write in the chat other examples of specific liens. Write in the chat other examples of specific liens. I'll give you guys a hint. They're on the board. Give me other examples. Property taxes, good. Mechanics liens, good. Those are specific liens. They're just not voluntary. That's why they're not the answer to the question. Everybody got that? A judgment lien, for those guys who wrote that, would be a general lien, meaning if you don't pay it, they could take everything. Example of a judgment lien would be if you lose a court case. Another example of a general lien would be like if you don't pay your income tax. So remember that, guys. Everybody write this down in the chat. Property tax specific lien, income tax general lien. People get that confused, so it's important you guys get that right on your real estate exam. Property tax general lien, income tax specific lien. Property tax is a specific lien. Income tax is a general lien. And you guys get confused on that because a lot of you guys say taxes, and it's one thing. That's not the case. Which of the following is not required for obtaining an easement by prescription? A, opponent notorious use, which is continuous. B, a hostile use, which is adverse to the true owner. B, having some claim of right, or D, a confrontation with the owner? Which of the following is not required for obtaining an easement by prescription? A, open notorious use, which is continuous. B, a hostile use, which is adverse to the true owner. C, having some claim of right, or D, a confrontation with the owner? And the answer is D. Excellent job, guys. You guys are doing great. Okay, let's do another. Oh, reading. Gross. How many guys, when you see you have to read, you just turn the page? Okay, a man conveys a life estate to his sister. Under the terms of the man's conveyance, the property will pass to his niece upon his sister's death. Which of these best describe the niece's interest in the property during the sister's lifetime? A, reversion, B, remainder, C, redemption, or D, life estate pure ultra V? Sonia Marie Hardaway says she loves to read. Oh, that's great for you. What a geek. Okay, moving on. And the answer is B, remainder. Do you guys understand what a life estate is all about? Should I do the story of the life estate real quick? What do you guys think? The story of a life estate? And we could understand this pretty quickly. All right. The Story of a Life Estate by Joe Juder of Prep Agent. Okay, once upon a time, there was a king. The king said to the people, "You must defend me." Everybody defends me. And the people were like, "What? No way. You're a horrible person. I hate you." And then the king said, hey, I don't like your attitude. You want to be rich? Of course I want to be rich. I'll give you property. Because remember, money wasn't worth much back then. Property was worth everything. Okay? So the guy said, I like property. I like being rich. Let's do it. And then the king said, all right. I'll give you that property under one condition. Because guys, remember, if you violate a condition, you lose title. That's an important thing. Real estate fact. Write it down. You violate a condition, you lose title. So the king said under one condition, I die, you lose the property. I stay alive, you're a rich man. And the guy says, what? So I have the property for the duration of your life? He said, yep. And we'll call it a life estate. Everybody with me so far? So this person, we'll call him the knight. He's like defending the king. He was the holder of the life estate. The holder of the life estate. Everybody got that? He was the holder of the life estate. Now he went along, and all of a sudden this poor knight died. Who gets the property now? So this guy who vowed to defend the king in an effort to be rich and powerful, he died. Who gets the property now? What do you guys think? So now the king gets the property. All right, the king gets the property. The king, you may say, has an estate in reversion. When the knight died, he doesn't exist anymore. So the property goes back to the king. Everybody see that? So he has the state of reversion. Now, next guy gets the property. He didn't do such a great job defending the king. The king dies. Uh-oh, it's not the knight's property anymore. Who gets the property now? Who gets the property now? So the king's not alive anymore. Who gets the property? What do you guys think? So now the king's heirs, we'll call him the prince. And we'll call that remainder because he is remaining. Everybody got that? So you have the holder of the life estate, the estate in reversion, and remainder. All right? And there, folks, is the story of the life estate. Ta-da! Pure otro vi, Christina, is just Latin for the life of another. So when you hear about a life estate, you hear pure otro vi, it just means for the life of another. Good question, Christina Cruz. All right, moving right along. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. A woman has permission from her friend to hike on his property during the autumn months. Her friend has granted her A, an easement by necessity, B, a license, C, a conditional use permit, or D, a riparian rights. And that is a license. By the way, I give you that silly story, but it's not without a purpose. You guys gotta promise me this. Please promise me this. I often say keep it concise and keep it simple. Why? It's because I want you guys to learn this in the most simple terms possible. Don't overcomplicate it. Everybody promise me this? Understand the basic concept before you get into details. If you can't simplify it and explain it, then you don't know it. If you're using complicated words to explain complicated things, you're just making it complicated. Everybody got it? I mean, let me ask you this. When you see somebody and they're able to clearly explain something using simple words, you automatically think they're super smart. When you hear somebody ramble on complicated words and just sound belligerent, you just think they're arrogant. You don't even know if they're smart. Truly intelligent people have a way of being able to simplify stuff and convey information. All right, so take that as a note as you study that you need to be able to simplify this stuff before you get to more complicated, in-depth information. Got it? All right. A section of the rectangular survey system contains A, 160 government lots, B, 160 acres per section, C, 640 acres per section, or D, 36 townships. Abigail says, I wish to tell you, I am not smarter than any of you guys, I promise. Told you guys about how I'm no better than an ostrich when I was swimming by the pool and good-looking people came by the pool and I didn't want them to see me because I looked ridiculous. So I stuck my head under the water, and I thought when they couldn't see me, I thought I was hiding from them, forgetting they could see through the water. So don't give me more credit than I deserve. Okay, moving right along. 640 acres per section. How big is an acre? How big is an acre? What do you guys think? How big is an acre? What do you guys think? How big is an acre? (43,560 square feet. 43,560 square feet. Remember 7-11, flip the first 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you can just remember 43,560 square feet. I am one of you. Now, in case you guys don't know, Arthur built something in our system where you see a word highlighted, you could click on it, and it gives the definition. How many of you guys didn't know that? It's pretty cool, huh? Arthur's the best. So if you guys didn't know that, you could click on a word and you get the description. Okay, Dan sold his land, which had an easement appurtenant for a road. The deed which the buyer received contained an adequate description of the land, but made no reference to the easement. The buyer, A, has a cloud on title. B, loses the easement to the servient tenement. C, takes title to property which is landlocked. D, has the same right to the easement as the seller did. Verona says, can he highlight the terms in your exam? For a fee? Ha 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 ha. Okay, and the answer is, has the same right. Do we all understand what the word appurtenant means? This is very important you guys understand this. Do you understand what the word appurtenant means? Do you guys understand what the word appurtenant means? Appurtenant means it goes with the property. So easement appurtenant means when you sell the property, that item goes with it. It goes with the land. Nice job, Misty Brown. Brianna says, Joe, change your fire alarm batteries. Is my alarm going off now? Why are you saying that? If a person leases a store for only 6 months, this person would have an A, estate from period to period, B, estate for years, C, estate at will, D, estate at sufferance. You guys say my alarm's chirping. I don't hear anything on my side. That's so weird. Okay, the answer is B, estate for years. Okay, moving right along. Remember, estate for years is when you rent something for a defined period of time. So whenever you see 2 dates, estate for years, or if it's like a summer rental, it's estate for years. Okay, moving. What is example of period to period, Enola? Month to month lease would be period to period. When you have a month to month lease. When a tenant voluntarily vacates property with no intention of honoring future obligation of the lease, this is known as A, unlawful detainer, B, abandonment, C, constructive eviction, or D, notice to quit. What do you guys think? That'd be abandonment. Good. How you guys doing today? We're doing good? I feel like we're doing good. I feel like there's good energy going on. I feel smarter. Do you guys feel smarter? I feel a little smarter. More about this easement stuff. So in case you guys don't know, an easement is just the right to cross somebody's land. Right? Has everybody got that? It's a form of a license. It's the right to cross somebody else's land. The person who is doing the crossing is the dominant tenement, and the person being crossed over is the servient tenement, because they're serving their purpose. Okay, an owner of a property with a lake has given the neighbor verbal permission to fish in the lake. The neighbor's right of use is most likely an A, easement in gross, B, easement appurtenant, C, encumbrance, D, license. And the answer is thanks, Kobe. A license. We just mentioned that. An easement's a form of a license. And so is permission to fish somebody's lake. A license is more or less the right to do an act on somebody else's land. Can I tell you guys something that annoys me that stops people from passing the exam? And I don't want you guys to fall into this trap because, just love you guys so much. How many of you guys have heard people say what you study for the exam is not relevant to what you're actually going to do? How many of you guys heard that one before? Don't worry about the exam. It's not like you're actually going to use any of this stuff, right? How many of you guys have heard that before? If you heard that before, tell those people I hate them. They are like the worst people ever. They are anti-motivators. I once ran into a person like that. A broker said, you teach for the exam, but nobody's actually going to use that, right? And I was like, what? He said, nobody's actually going to use that. I said, well, why do you change your shirt before you go to Starbucks? It's not like the barista is actually going to go out with you. I mean, nobody's actually going to use that. He's like, well, you never know. And I said, exactly. You never know, do ya? So pipe it. But my bigger point is that you will use some of the stuff for your test. Those people say that don't know what's on the exam. And the bigger point is that doesn't help you motivate. Those people are anti-motivators. They're anti-motivators, all right? I mean, it doesn't help you motivate at all when people do that. I hate those people. They should be saying what you should be thinking when you study is, you're right, I may not use everything, but I'm not using a real estate agent who doesn't know how big an acre is, doesn't know what a listing is, doesn't know what a deed is, doesn't know what title is, and I could go on. All those things that are on your real estate exam. Am I right or am I right? Would you guys work with a real estate agent who couldn't tell you how big an acre was? Okay, moving along. By the way, that was my phone, not the battery. I have to turn my phone off. So now study up, be motivated, pass this test, and sell some homes. Okay, all the following would likely be considered fixtures except A, a standalone microwave that is plugged into the wall. B, wall ovens and a farm sink. C, a rose bush and grapevines. Or D, a refrigerator that's been installed into the cupboards. It's totally true, guys. Had your real estate agent said, what's a deed? And they're like, I don't know, it's not in my real estate exam, but who cares? You'd be like, what? And the answer is A, standalone microwave. It's standalone, therefore it's not incorporated into the land, and it doesn't follow that Maria test. I'm so excited for Cynthia and Stu's webinar this week. They're the best ever. Do you guys like how Cynthia, Stu, and I have different personalities? We're so different. Cynthia's Mary Poppins, Stu's Ned Flanders, and I'm just a whole lot of crazy. Okay, next question. When owners of real property hold title as tenants in common, A, all co-owners must own an equal interest in the property. B, the individual owners give up their rights to will interest in the property. C, the one who lives the longest winds up the sole owner. And D, each of the co-owners' interests may be conveyed separately. Thanks, Megan. Totally taking your test for you now. All right, let's talk about this. Joint tenants and tenants in common. They're both types of concurrent ownership. All right? Concurrent ownership means you own it together as opposed to severalty. What makes joint tenancy joint tenancy is the 4 unities of time, title, interest, and possession. Right, guys? Write that down. Time, title, interest, and possession. The only unity that exists with a tenancy in common is possession. It does not have 4 unities. It only has 1. The other big factor you guys need to know is the right of survivorship. Joint tenancy has the right of survivorship. Okay, the right of survivorship. Tenancy in common does not. And what that means, if you take property as joint tenancy with somebody else and they die, you get the property. Where if it's tenancy in common, they can will it to their heirs. Ergo, you would not take a property as a tenant in common you would not take property as a joint tenant with a corporation. You would take it as tenant in common. Abigail, it's time, title, interest, and possession. Good question, Abigail Davis. With that being said, that's all for me today. It's been a pleasure, guys. Congratulations, Hillary, on passing her exam. Tomorrow, I think we have a little stew magic going on, so be ready, buckle your seat. The Blue Man Group's got nothing on stew. Or is it Cynthia tomorrow? I don't know. Check your schedule. Have an amazing day, guys.